Welcome back to the Sad Fan, where we talk about the good, the bad, and everything that made you sad from the previous week. And I've got to tell you, I'm starting to worry about Jerry Jones and the Cowboys. I am,
Why?
because that sun glare is so bad that CeeDee Lamb just can't catch any passes for touchdowns, and they just keep losing games because of it.
Why do you feel bad for them? I don't.
You're afraid for them because I don't see them recovering from this season. And I was joking about them 2 weeks ago. And now it looks so real because Dak Prescott's having hamstring surgery.
Yeah.
If the legs, Wes, he's not a big guy. He's not a big, huge, like 6'3", 6'4" guy. He's not. He relies on his legs more than people realize. He's not a pocket passer, is what I was going to say. And he's now having hamstring surgery. He had major ankle surgery when his ankle got dislocated. It was disgusting a couple years ago when his ankle got dislocated. And they have a lot of money tied up in him. They have a lot of money tied up in Micah Parsons. They have a lot of money tied up in CeeDee Lamb. And it's not looking good for them.
They also had a lot of money tied up in Tony Romo once upon a time. And then Tony Romo just vanished and went to the press box. And I think, I don't know if Dak's going to go to the press box, but I think Dak's time in the NFL is limited now.
I think so. I mean, this leg injury is bad, and it's weird. Like I said 2 weeks ago, we did a whole show on it almost. I think that the Cowboys they're no longer America's team. They are done. It's over. People have realized that it's all a fallacy. They'll never do that. Shoot. I just learned that because we treat our politics like we treat our sports teams. So they're never going to go away. Everybody's always going to think they're good, even though they haven't won a playoff game. Or they won their first playoff game, I think, 2 years ago? Was it last year or 2 years ago?
It was crazy. 2 years ago, I think. Yeah.
It was the first one since 1995. Since 1995. And people
since they won a Super Bowl
in this team. It's insane to me. It just doesn't make any sense to me, but here we are. This is where we live now.
Well, so their starting quarterback was Cooper Rush.
Yeah, Cooper Rush.
I did not know who that was before. I had to Google him when I was like, who is this guy?
Wasn't he Boise
Central
State?
Michigan? Central Michigan. Home of Connor Stallions.
Central Michigan. The Chippewas? Is that who that is? Central Michigan Chippewas?
I think it might be.
Yeah,
I think so.
So Cooper Rush is a Chippewa. It's going to be interesting to see what happens there. I think it's bad. It's so bad, and it's not like they're super young. They're kind of in the middle of the pack as far as age is concerned. They don't have a running back. They tried to fall back on Ezekiel Elliott, who was left off the bus for disciplinary reasons a couple weeks ago. I don't know what's happening.
He had some bright spots in the last game. He did.
Did he have some bright?
But he's not the Ezekiel Elliott of old.
Before or after they were down by 20 points?
All right. After.
Now, another team that just won't seem to go away is the Kansas City Chiefs. So the Kansas City Chiefs.
How do they keep getting away with it? They can't keep getting away with it.
Undefeated.
What the hell?
Kansas City Chiefs.
How do you block a 30-yard field goal to win the game?
Oh, we were all resigned that they were going to win, right? Watching that game. We'd all sat back on our couch and said it's over. They're going to win.
I thought Bo Nix was going to do it. I was about ready to start
that's what I mean.
Bo Nix is rookie of the year from the heavens.
Yeah, because we think that kick is a chip shot now, right? It was over in everyone's head. It was game over. Nothing was going to happen that was bad, and then all the bad stuff happened, and we had to watch.
I just don't get it. I don't why? How?
You sound seriously emotional.
Leave me alone.
Seriously emotional over Kansas City. And
I wanted Bo Nix to be the one who dethroned him.
You do have hope.
Because he played great that game. He played better than Patrick that game.
No, here's the thing. When you say that, Wes, a lot of people are outplaying Patrick.
Say it.
No, a lot of people are outplaying Patrick Mahomes this year. He's not having a great season. Patrick Mahomes is not having that Patrick Mahomes season we're used to seeing. I forgot what time it was in Seattle, right? I forgot 11 o'clock almost there. or it is 11 o'clock. Is it
9:10.
It's 9:10.
9 p.m.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And I just saw you take a big swig of Coca-Cola, and in my head I was like, how the hell can he drink Coke at 4 a.m? Like, that's disgusting. And then I was like, oh, it's like 9 p.m. over there. So as it pertains to the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes, yeah, he's been getting outplayed, man. This is not the Patrick Mahomes we've seen in the past. It's not the Travis Kelce. They're aging. No. And Wes, I have hope for you. We have hope that comes straight from the WNBA for you to rely on, okay? Do you know what that hope is? Who else was going for a three-peat this year?
It was the Aces.
Yeah, and look at this. They got exhausted going into the playoffs. They got a tough matchup against the New York Liberty, and they lost. And that sucked for me, but it made sense. It is hard playing that many games year after year after year. It takes a toll on your body. It takes a toll on your ability to rest. And you know who the New York Liberty of the NBA is? Or the NFL?
The Bulls?
No, the New York Liberty of the NFL
like the Bulls?
is. No. Do you know who the New York Liberty of the NFL is?
The Chiefs?
No. It's the only...
the Lions?
It's the only NFL team that actually plays in New York. It's the only NFL team that actually plays in New York.
The Giants?
They play in New Jersey.
The Jets?
They play in New Jersey.
Buffalo
Bills. And that's the matchup we have this week. We've got Kansas City going all the way to Buffalo. So will you call on Josh Allen to be your savior this week?
Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen. The Bills are going to beat the Chiefs. And then we're going to get to the playoffs, and they're going to play in the AFC Championship. And just like last year and the year before that, they're going to beat them when it counts. And I'm going to be really sad, and I'm going to cry.
So you're going to...
But you know what? I still got my Lions.
You're going to treat the Kansas City Chiefs like I treat politics. No, I think Kansas City is going to have a really tough time going up to Buffalo this weekend. I do. Because it's November. But they're not going to get impacted by the cold weather because they play in Kansas City. So New York's not going to be that much different from what they're used to. So you know what I'm hoping for, Wes? Lots and lots of snow.
Yeah, it gets cold in Kansas City. I mean, last year, I think Kansas City had like a blizzard game.
I think it was the coldest playoff game on record, the Kansas City game that was played in the playoffs last year.
It's like minus 20 degrees.
Yeah, I think was it against Miami that they played that playoff game?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And Miami was like, what is this?
Yeah, it's not what they're used to. And here we are with Buffalo. So they're not going to have that advantage, but I do think Buffalo has a much better team. They may have Amari Cooper back from injury, which is crazy. Like the trades weren't super impactful this year, it seems. So let's see what happens. Let's see what goes there. Now, the best...
They're going to lose. I'm predicting it right now. Westradamus.
Chiefs lose?
Yeah, Chiefs lose.
I agree. What do you think the line's at right now?
I think it's probably Buffalo -3.
Dude, that was good. That was really good. You might be the great Westradamus. That was close. It's Buffalo -2.5. But that's a win, I think.
All right, yeah, there we go.
Price is right because he went over, but in Price is Fry, you hit it. 2.5, 3. Like, that's not bad. Yeah, that's a good call. What do you think the points total is going to be?
Vegas should hire me. Vegas should hire me.
What do you think the points total is at?
41.
You were close again. 46.5. Here's the thing. I'm taking the under. I'm taking the under. Watching the Chiefs offense this year and their defense, I'm taking the under there. I think it's going to be like 28-17 or like a nice 24-17 game with one of the teams driving down at the end with trying to go for a touchdown to tie. I don't think it's going to hit that 46.5 point mark. I think that the 49ers Seahawks game might also be an under this week. That's a nice little rivalry we got. But
because Geno sucks and we can't get a touchdown to save our lives.
I think the best game from last week, though, happened on Thursday. It wasn't even of the weekend, Wes, and it was the Ravens against the Bengals.
That was nuts.
Jamar Chase went off, huh?
264 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's his second 260-yard game, and he's the first receiver in history to do that.
Man, he was magic, and by magic I mean barely being awake, rolling over in my bed and looking at the little football field on the ESPN app and seeing a line go for Jamar Chase. And I was
Jamar
like,
Chase.
oh.
Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
Jamar Chase.
I
Jamar
rolled over
Chase.
and I go, because he I'm not going to do fantasy football talk, but he is on my fantasy team. So he had a 66-yard touchdown when I rolled over and looked at the score.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, nice. He caught a long touchdown. That's probably really good for my team. And then I look at the score box, and he has 55 points. And I'm like, oh, yeah,
well, so
times.
Here's the thing about that 66-yarder. It was like 15 yards in the air, and then he juked like 4 defenders on his run into the end zone. It was like a running back run. He just
took it Randy Moss-esque when Randy Moss would like split the defense and juke out 3 Packers on Thanksgiving Day.
It was all after catch. It was all after catch. It was nuts.
Yeah, I mean, I the Bengals are the most confusing team to me because I think the Bengals should have a much better record than they do.
They have so many weapons. They have so many weapons.
Not just that, they've been good. That's the thing.
Yeah.
They've been good, but you know how they lost this game. They lost on a 2-point conversion, which you know is my thing. Like, that's my thing. I don't go for the tie. I don't get lemon booty. I'm like, you know what? Win or lose, we're hot right now. I'd rather not see Lamar Jackson in overtime. I'm just going to go for the win.
Yeah, so here's the thing. I think it all depends on your standings. Like, if you're like competing for a playoff spot, you play for the tie, and then you try to win it in overtime. If you're just like trying to be spoiler maker, who cares? Go for the win.
Wes, just in our dynamic, I think more times than not, you go for the tie. You go for the tie. You personally, you go for the tie. You're safe. You're super smart and super talented, but you're safe. You're like a little safe boy. You're not going to risk it for the biscuit.
Too many times. I've seen teams go for the 2-point conversion so many times, and I feel like when in that situation, their conversion rate is like 20%.
Wes, if you were an NFL coach, you would sit pretty at about an 8-8 ranking every single year. Every single year, because you're just going to be very conservative. You like to run the ball. You like to go.
No, I like to pass. I would pass. Okay.
You like to punt the ball.
Verts every time. 4 verts all day.
This is not NFL blitz. I'm talking real consequences. You like to give yourself a nice little punt. Wes enjoys a nice punt.
Fourth down on your side of the field. Once you're over the 50, I say go for it unless you're like 4th and 10.
Did you see what the Steelers did in their game against the Commanders?
Yes.
The punt pass. That was crazy. And it was like on their own 20-yard line or something. And I was like, oh my God, or 14. It was on their own 14-yard line. They try to fake punt.
I mean, did you also see how they won that game?
Yeah,
they did a hard count. They got a hard count. And they got the rookie offsides. Neutral zone infraction.
I felt so bad for that kid. Like, that was so bad. And it never happens. They never jump off sides, and to lose the game on a hard count is just like you never see a hard count work ever, especially in that situation when you know they're going to come out and try to hard count you, and it worked. It's just insane.
You know that they drill that into you over and over.
It's just insane.
You know who's won 4 in a row now?
Who's that?
The Russell Wilson-led Steelers.
Oh, it was right there. It was right there for me to grab. That was low-hanging fruit. But yeah, Russell Wilson and the Steelers are getting it done. I don't think they're that good, but that defense with just a competent quarterback, that defense is so nasty. Like, it's so good with Hayward and Watt and Minka Fitzpatrick. That defense is stacked. I think they're going to get to the playoffs and lose immediately. That's what I see.
I think this is also part of the reason why the Bengals don't have that great of a record. They're in a really good division, except for the Browns. But it's Cleveland.
The Browns? Is that still a football team? Don't worry. Wes.
No, they're a JV team. They're a JV team.
Deshaun Watson is going to come back, and he's going to accomplish great things. I mean, he may not ever be able to be a quarterback again, but the American people have shown that he could be the president. So
here's the thing. Can we do relegation in NFL? Because I would really like to see Cleveland relegated.
In NCAA football 2014, I created a promotion and relegation system using the conferences back when I had more time to play. And I had like the SEC as the number one conference. And then I had like the conference below it was like the Big Ten. And then the next one was like the Pac. And then I would do promotion and relegation. The three best teams from one conference would move up. Three worst teams would move down into the different conferences. Like I had it going on, man.
Why don't you do that in 2024?
Right. Well, it just takes too long, man. It takes too long. It's a long process. You actually have to care about the offseason. I had a book, like the book I take of notes for the show, that would have all the teams on it, so I could keep track of who was the best record, who had the worst record, and you have to do it in the final week of the season because if you don't, it resets everybody's record to 0. It was a lot. It was hard work. It was, but it was fun. It was interesting to see like who dropped down, and then you'd always get like every once in a while a random Tennessee will drop like 3 or 4 divisions down and then go undefeated again because they're like 3 or 4 divisions down. It was fun. It was different. And I can see where you're coming from. You didn't laugh at my Deshaun Watson joke, though, so it's good. You're keeping yourself safe from anything that could possibly happen to you. You're going to stay on their good side like Saturday Night Live did. Did you catch Saturday Night Live Open this weekend?
I did not.
Oh, it was very funny. It was basically like appealing to the new regime that will be in power here. It was like, we heard that you're going to take out serious action against anyone that was against you. So we're all from Saturday Night Live here to tell you we've been for you the whole time. It was very sarcastic, and it was well done. It was interesting. It was a good take, and I said we need to do more of that on the Sad Fan. We need to be more creative.
Elon Musk, okay.
Oh, he's pissed about it. He's so mad about it. He's so sensitive. He's more sensitive than the athletic director over in Utah. Did you see that outburst?
That was fire. And I don't blame him. I still think it was a ticky-tack call. And Utah should have won that game. But at the same time, there was still a little bit of holding. I still think it was ticky-tack because that kind of shit happens on every play. But, man, he had some harsh words for the officials, which I don't blame him because that crew, again, is a crew from the Pac-12. He should have been fired. He should have gone back to his day job. I don't know why that guy is refereeing Big 12 football.
Yeah.
Go away. And then the Utah AD said, so if you look at one of the clips, you can see the Utah AD. It was from after the game, like when everyone was on the field. He said, that's why we fired you in the Pac-12.
Well, Wes, does he have a history with Oregon, this crew? Does this crew have a history with Oregon?
We all have history with all of them.
No, there was a couple years ago, I want to say, with Chelsea on the show, where you and Chelsea were just eviscerating the Pac-12 referees because something had occurred with Oregon. And I wish I could remember the exact moment, but the two of you were just, this is why nobody wants Pac-12 officials to ref their bowl game, because they're awful. They're so terrible.
They are terrible. And now they're infecting other leagues, and I feel bad.
Do you feel bad, or are you like, now you see what we had to deal with? This was it. You reap what you sow.
Both ways.
Cool. All right, so we had 2 first as well, involving turnovers.
Well, let's just say what happened with that AD. He got fined $40,000 by the Big 12 for his comments, and he had to publicly apologize. Yeah, he said we were really excited to be going to the Big 12, but now I can't say that for certain anymore. Like, dude, they took you in after the Pac-12 fell apart. I'm like, at this rate,
stolen from us.
Yeah, at this rate, I'm pretty sure the Big 12 would trade you guys for Washington State, who can at least win a game.
It's a huge rivalry game. It
really is. They hate each other.
But Utah, you're 4-4. BYU is undefeated. They would rather have BYU.
They're frauds. BYU are frauds.
Hey, at least they've actually played good teams, unlike Penn State, the number 4 ranked team in this week's college football playoff rankings. Okay,
they did play a good team. They played Ohio State.
Yeah, that's it. Penn State's played a few good games. Now we had two firsts as it pertained to turnovers and winning the game. We had Detroit Lions and the Vikings. Now the Vikings were the first team to ever not score a touchdown, turn the ball over 3 times and win their game, and the Lions were the first team to throw 5 interceptions and win their game. What's more impressive to you?
I think throwing 5 interceptions and winning a game.
You just love these Lions, I think. I think that's what it is. You just love these Lions, and you know Minnesota Vikings are fake.
I do. The Lions are going to kick the crap out of the Vikings.
I think they already beat the Vikings once, didn't they? Didn't they already beat the Vikings once?
Yeah, they did. 31-29, October 20th.
Yeah. So they've already beaten the Vikings once. The Lions are a solid team. Like, the Lions can beat teams in so many different ways. And like I will go back to a show a couple weeks ago when you text me from the Seattle game, how are the Lions winning and Jared Goff has 20 yards? And I was like, oh, that's easy. They've scored 3 special teams touchdowns.
Well, so here's the thing. I think we're getting a little bit of that Sam Darnold that we expected to see at the beginning of the season. He had 3 interceptions.
Yeah, and I mean, it's only a matter of time before Justin Jefferson gets frustrated with that Sam Darnold, and then we start to see some infighting.
Yep. No, I don't know if we'll see infighting, but we'll definitely see more of a regression to the mean for Sam Darnold.
Old Sammy
Darnold anyways.
Yeah, he. What is it? According to the Dan Le Batard show, he looks like a Lego police officer.
Question, is the D silent? Is it like French? Darno?
I think it's Sam not for long. Because they also got J.J. McCarthy. And I think, honestly, this is what Minnesota wanted. They didn't want a controversy. They needed Sam Darnold to start to stink up the joint a little bit. So when they make the move next year to J.J. McCarthy and they don't sign Sam Darnold to a Geno Smith contract, that it's justified.
I think they want to try and get something in return for him if they can.
He's only on a 1-year contract, I believe. So this is it. It's either you sign him to a Geno Smith style deal, or you let him walk and let somebody else sign him. Like who's gonna do that? Maybe Cleveland. They like giving terrible quarterbacks lots of money.
Cleveland will probably sign Sam Darnold. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, it would be a shocker. You know what was a shocker for everybody that was a dog?
The Georgia game?
The Georgia game. Good job. You caught that through a W in that dog. All right. The Georgia game. So go ahead. I want you, Wes, while we're talking about this, look up where Carson Beck was as far as the Heisman race preseason. Where was Carson Beck's preseason Heisman ranking?
I think he was like top 3.
He's number 1.
Yeah.
He was number 1.
It
was Carson Beck, Shedeur Sanders. Yeah, he's very bad. He's very bad. And he's missing having a good football team around him because, man, not only does he look like Machine Gun Kelly's stunt double, he is terrible at football. He's really bad at football. He's not good, and he throws interceptions like it's his job. He throws interceptions like Georgia would like him to throw touchdowns. And I actually called this game going into it. Since Wes always does a little horn toot, and I'm going to call it. I said, I think Ole Miss is going to win this game. And Ole Miss did. They did win this game. So I said, this is going to be the game on my big TV because I had a feeling Lane Kiffin was going to pull this one off, especially after what happened to Ole Miss last time these two teams played. Georgia boat raced them. So for Lane Kiffin to come out and get a win in this way, I think it was crucial. And I've liked this Ole Miss team since the beginning of the season. Go ahead, Wes.
Good call on that game. I'll give you your flowers when you deserve it, little boy.
I was happy about it. You were very happy about Georgia Tech. Like, I didn't expect that response when I was texting you about it. I knew it. I always told you they were either going to lose here or they were going to lose to SMU. And I was like, relax. This is still kind of crazy that this team is losing to Georgia Tech.
It's that Mario Cristobal team. They're going to lose games they shouldn't.
Man, I watched that whole game, and the whole time I had the thought in my head, Miami's going to win this game. Like Cameron Ward is going to come back. They're going to win this game. It'll be a last-second touchdown, and they just couldn't do it. They couldn't keep Georgia off the field. Georgia ran the ball down their throat. They couldn't stop the pass. Yeah, it was crazy because it'd be like they'd convert third downs, and you know how they would convert third downs, Wes?
Running.
They'd bring in a backup quarterback to throw the ball. Because their quarterback was injured and couldn't throw. So what do you think that tells us? That they're very obviously going to throw the ball when he's in the game, and they still couldn't stop it. It was driving me crazy because I'm sitting on my couch and I'm like, they're gonna so here it is, put in a pass defense. because they're going to throw the ball. Oh, guy wide open down the seam. Oh, guy wide open in the flat. And I'm just like, what are they doing? It's very clear what's going to happen.
Miami's not that good.
No, I agree. I think Cam Ward is carrying them. I remarked about how crazy it is that Xavier Restrepo is their number one wide receiver and how he now holds every Miami wide receiver record. But they should not have lost this game. They did lose this game, but Miami should not have lost this game. They should have gone undefeated to the conference championship.
Probably, because they're in a very easy conference.
Yeah. I don't think anyone takes the ACC serious.
Is Pitt still undefeated?
No, Pitt lost to SMU.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
We talked about it last week.
Yeah.
We talked about it last week.
I have the memory of a goldfish.
So we stack. You're thinking about how to keep airplanes in the air. Now you stack up the Big 12 and the ACC. Which conference are you taking there?
Ooh.
Is it really that tough of a question? Wow.
I say ACC. So here, I think Big 12 is deeper.
Really?
Big 12 is deeper, but I think the better teams from ACC are better than the top teams from the Big 12.
Like Florida State?
Like Florida State.
Jesus Christ, what happened to Florida State this weekend? Did you see that? Did you see what happened to Florida State this weekend?
They bad.
They played okay, so just so you know, they played Notre Dame. Okay? How many points do you think Florida State scored?
I think they scored 0.
Scored 3 points. Do you know how many points Notre Dame scored in this game?
Wasn't it in the 50s?
52. They almost lost by 50 points.
Yes.
They lost by 49. Oh my gosh. Like, this game was probably on the calendar as what should be a really fun game, a really good game, and it was not. They got destroyed.
Did you see they fired their head coach fired the OC, the DC, and the wide receiver coach?
You know that's what
that's not the problem, bro. That's not the problem.
That's what the Chicago Bears did too.
Chicago
Bears did the same thing. Eberflus was like, "Look, it's either you or me, bro, and it's not going to be me," and fired the offensive coordinator. So it's the move every team does this time of year, right? Every bad team does a move like this.
Spark.
Yeah, it's not even a spark to me. It's kind of like every bad team this time of year does like something to say, "Hey, look, it's not me. It's not me. It's somebody else. It's somebody else's fault, and we're gonna fire them. I promise." And that's what Brian.
We're gonna be better. I promise.
That's what Brian Kelly should do, man.
He was mad.
Brian Kelly. So
slammed his fist on the table.
I don't want to take your story. You sent me something about Brian Kelly. What happened with Brian Kelly? Because this is your story.
Crap. I'm pulling a blank here.
You sent it to me yesterday.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I sent it. So he was complaining to the referees. Brian Kelly was complaining to the referees like in garbage time that Alabama was blitzing 8 people. And he said, the game's over. Why are they blitzing 8 people? He was complaining to a referee. What do you think they're going to do about it? Personal foul, blitzing more than 6 people.
Like, I mean, do we expect
the rules.
anything less?
Like, that's part of the rules. You're a big boy. You're in the SEC. You're in the big boy conference, okay? You're not independent, okay? You can handle it, all right? You're expected to be competing for a playoff spot. And if you can't handle Alabama running up the score and blitzing 8 people on you in garbage time, go to FCS or something, bro.
Man, he's the biggest crybaby I think I've ever seen. And
seriously, here we are. He left Notre Dame because he thought it'd be easier to win a national championship in the SEC with LSU. And now he's getting slapped by a crappy Alabama team.
And he had a Heisman quarterback. You know? So having a Heisman quarterback, I guess it takes more than that, Brian Kelly. I guess you have to be a competent head coach.
Thanks to you, Alabama is probably going to squeak into the playoffs. You douchebag.
You think?
Probably.
I think they got one more L somewhere on their schedule. Somewhere. I don't know where it's going to come from. I think it's going to be a shocker. I think we're all going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe Alabama lost to them.
They only have like 2 games left.
Yeah, but one's the Iron Bowl.
they have Mercer, Oklahoma, and Auburn. Tell me which of those games are they going to lose? Oklahoma is trash. They're not going to make a bowl game.
Auburn. They could lose to Auburn. Auburn's trash too, but the Iron Bowl, it's a rivalry game.
So here's what's great about Oklahoma. So Oklahoma is currently 5-5.
Uh-huh.
And do you know who the next two games on their schedule are?
Who are they?
Alabama and LSU.
So you think they're not going to make a bowl game? Is that what you're trying to say?
This is going to be the first time, I think it was in 25 years, that they're not going to make a bowl game.
You think they lose to LSU?
Yeah.
LSU is not that good.
Also, that's such a weird, isn't the last week of the season supposed to be like rivalry week?
I don't know.
Playing LSU
with conference realignment, Wes. I don't know anymore. That's the crazy thing. Is I don't even know. Like when I said they've got the Iron Bowl, when you said Alabama, I had to think about it. I was like, but do they have the Iron Bowl? Because conference realignment, it scares me that we're going to lose some of these really big games. I agree. I hope we don't. But don't you sometimes think about it? Like, dang, I hope I don't lose some of these big games. Like you're mad that you lost the Oregon State game, but are we still going to have Oregon Washington?
Yeah, that's going to be our Black Friday game. And and we get Texas A&M back, which is great because those guys hate each other.
Yeah, that's a good game as well. Texas A&M is a cult. If you're listening, you're a cult in Texas A&M. It's weird. The Midnight Yell is weird. You guys are weird. You're just weird people.
It's all weird. And it's just, they lobbied the SEC so hard to keep Texas out. And it backfired now. And so it's going to be heated. It's going to be an ugly game. I'm excited.
I mean, that conference is stacked. The SEC is stacked. The Big Ten is stacked. I suppose that aspect of it is fun. But, yeah, I'm just afraid for our rivalry games. I'm hoping everything works out where we keep getting these games that we want so bad. I mean, Washington State is ranked again. They're ranked again after everything that happened to the Pac-12. So the fact that Washington State has been able to keep head above water and survive, recreate and rebuild the pack, it's pretty nuts.
Yeah,
I don't want my hopes for a conference in Washington State.
They have a pretty easy schedule for the rest of their games, so I think Washington's going to win out. Yeah,
and ranked. So it's been fun. I mean, shout out to the Kraken, by the way, tonight. They are literally dismantling the Columbus Blue Jackets. But I'm excited. I'm excited to see the end of this. Yeah, they're literally just destroying the Blue Jackets right now. The reason I keep looking down at my phone is because it's like, Kraken score a goal. Kraken score a goal. Kraken score a goal. And I'm like, what is happening? Like, am I just getting the same update over and over again? Or are they just nope, it's 5-2. So they're just destroying the Columbus Blue Jackets while we're having this conversation. We got a big boxing match, Wes, and we'll end the show with this. What do you think? What do you think is going to happen?
I hope Tyson knocks the shit out of Jake Paul.
I do too.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's rigged.
That's I think that's everyone's fear, man. At least it's on Netflix. They're diving into these live sports, but that's everyone's fear.
I'm glad we don't have to pay $80 to watch it on pay-per-view.
What's he fighting? How old is Mike Tyson? Is he in his 60s now? Is he fighting a 60-year-old Mike Tyson, Paul? And I think Paul is bigger than Mike Tyson at this point, too.
58 years.
58 years old, and I think Paul is bigger as well than Mike Tyson is at this stage in their careers. So, man, I hope Mike Tyson knocks him out, but we'll see. I think they're wearing headgear, too. I think they might be wearing headgear. Are they wearing headgear?
I hope not. I want to see.
There are rules to this fight that I think that we're not expecting. So I thought it might be no headgear, but I think it's 2-minute rounds. I think it's 6 rounds.
Yeah. No, Mike Tyson and Jake Paul will not be wearing headgear.
Okay.
14-ounce gloves. Okay.
All right. So are you going to watch?
Yeah. Duh.
Yeah. I think it's on after I'm asleep. So you'll have to fill us all in on what happens. I'm going to get the recap in the morning, Wes. I'm counting on you. I'm counting on you to do the play-by-play, to give the update.
That's a lot of pressure.
Is this your chance to be Al Michaels? And when Mike Tyson knocks out Paul, are you going to say, "Do you believe in miracles?" All right, I appreciate you guys joining us each and every week. We look forward to seeing you next week, and I promise next week's show will be more happy, more upbeat, and more fun. This show was fun, but I think that there's going to be some exciting things. I'm excited to talk about this Chiefs-Bills game for sure. Tune into Popcorn and Beers also next week because we've got Gladiator 2 in the movie theaters this week. And I hope you're entertained.
With Denzel. I can't wait. I love Denzel.
I hope you're entertained.